All right. Hello, everybody. Once again, this is the Summit Podcast. We're on a roll. Had a couple, two or three podcasts in the last week, and we're going to keep the train running. Today, we're going to go down to Ocala, Florida, and talk with my friend Jason Rector. Jason is a contractor, a general contractor. He does similar work to what I've done over the years, although he's more of a new construction contractor versus me being a remodeling. So Jason's got it dialed in. He has three or four different things that he does, and that's it. I'm envious of how he does business at times, because some days it seems like that would be simpler than tearing apart an old farmhouse and wondering how we're going to put it back together. But I met Jason back in, I think it was 2021 at a contractor fight event where we both went to go and level up as contractors. And he's seen me grow in my business and coaching and podcasting and blogging, and I've seen him grow his business and step things up with a great website and customer base and doing great things. He's a father of four, and he, like I said, he's in Ocala, Florida. We've become good friends. Not too many weeks go by where we don't just check in on one another and just say hello and say how's it going. So we were talking last week, and I'm like, hey, dude, let's get you on the podcast. So here we are. Jason, welcome to the summit.
Thank you so much, Bob. Appreciate it. Wow, what an introduction, man. I've never had anything like that.
I know. Usually I'm crapping on you or something.
I know. I know. Well, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I left some stuff out. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do and what you like to do and all that jazz.
Well, I'm a father first and a businessman second. So that's my priority. I like to make sure that I have that balance of family and business, and it's something that I've recently, you know, diverted to and not working all the time. And I can get better at it still, but that's what defines me, being a dad. And
Yeah.
then and I run a construction company at the same time.
Well, that's cool. It's that says a lot about you. I when I do speaking and events or whatever, I always say I'm Bailey's dad. Because everything else after that seems kind of secondary, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Yeah.
Minute.
Right. That's what we signed up for. It's someday not so much fun, but that's what we signed up for. So you've been doing it about 20 years. You've been at it. How
Yeah,
long have you had Rector Construction?
since 2006.
Okay.
And so I had framing company for many years, and then it's evolved into the new construction, residential. Uh, I've done the remodeling, right, as you
Mhm.
talked about in the beginning, which is a lot of unforeseen circumstances. And now I have four models. That's it. That's what I do, and I know what it costs to build them. I know how long it takes to build them, and that's it. If I stay in my lane,
Right.
which is hard to do sometimes, and it's taken me a long time to get there, it just makes a lot more sense for me and the homeowner.
That's it's an interesting approach, and as I mentioned, I'm envious. I wish years ago maybe I just said, "Hey, we just do bathrooms. We just do." But anytime somebody would say, "Hey, do you do?" and I'd go, "Yeah, we do that," and I'd run and figure out how to do it. I mean, how did you get to that point? Did you just say? Did you start out kind of niche like that, or did you take on too much stuff and be like, "Oh, I gotta just kind of get this down to three or four things"?
Well, it's funny because I've been in the hospitality business my whole life, right? And my parents own restaurants. My sister has owned many restaurants, and it's just in our blood. So, I'm a people pleaser. So it was hard for me to say no. First, I had to own my no, right? And which is uncomfortable, still is.
Hmm.
And, I find myself zigzagging all over town, and, with coaching, your help and other people, I educated myself and learned that I didn't have to do that, right? I thought that's the
Right.
way you run a construction company. I didn't know any other way. And so, yeah, that's it in a nutshell. But
Yeah, so when you start, I mean, you were in it, you were doing framing, so you kind of had a front row seat to seeing some of these places go together. Was there a time when you just said, I could do this. I'll do this myself.
yeah, that's right. I was framing, and yeah, it's exactly right, right? It's evolved into the people who I was working for, divorced. Each one wanted me to go work for them. And so I opened my framing company, and had 75 employees, which was, just crazy, crazy.
Wow.
I know. And then 2008 came and it was time to pull back. Got my license at that same time. So it was framing and then contracting license, right? So
Wow, that
built
must have been a
2000.
huge transition to go from having 75 employees. Did you just flush things out and just start as Jason Rector, or did you keep a bunch of guys on?
Well, I kept a handful of guys on in the business going, right? The
Yeah.
economy flushed everybody else out, but
Right.
my brother, my uncle, and a couple other guys. And I went back to bartending, went back to the hospitality business. I wasn't paid for a few years, but the company kept going, paid them.
Hmm.
And then 2016, it was no more framing, and I am going to be building homes. Um, did it a while, ran around, ran and did bids, right, for other people, and then got some coaching up, learned some stuff. I'm like, I can get paid for doing bids. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
and it's just crazy. So instead of living in the past, man, I just, okay, it's time to.
Yeah, that's a revelation too when you actually start to value your time, right? Because, and I always say this, and we've learned this through the contractor coaching we've gotten that there's very few disciplines or people that you can engage their services for free, right? Everybody's like, hey, Jason, come on over and price this way and that way and break this down, give me that this way. And until you know that, you learn that you don't have to do that, or you at least can structure that as a consultation. And if framed right, no pun intended, you go at it properly, you can get paid. And at a minimum, you cut down the number of people that you go out and see for nothing, right? Those driveway talks where somebody's just hanging on to you for an hour, wringing every bit of construction knowledge they can get out of you, only to tell you, hey, put that together and show it to me this way and that, and I'll let you know.
Yeah, yeah. I'll let you know if you can work for me, right?
Right.
That's that. Like, but for so long, I was like, okay, because I didn't know any different. Man, it was just eye opening the first time I owned my no, right? I didn't get the job, but I didn't take 3 days running around bidding this thing, and I'm so thrilled. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was just crazy.
Let's uh, let's talk for a minute about the mindset shift in that, really, because like what you just said, if I can't remember how you framed it, but if you're so fortunate that they would give you the work, right? That's how we
Mhm.
all felt. Like, oh wow, I'm gonna be lucky to get this job. It's gonna be a good one. Or, hey, this guy's kind of a pain. That's okay. I think I can deal with him. Oh, these guys don't have the budget. I'll just trim my number up here and trim my number up there. And versus now, you say, hey, I'm Jason Rector. I do a darn good job. I have a whole book full of people that I've built for. You'll be lucky if I take you on as a customer. Now, not quite that, arrogant, presumptuous,
Yeah.
but my line in the past few years has been with people like, hey, I understand you're interviewing me. I'm interviewing you too. It's
Yeah.
just like you don't want a bad contractor. I don't want a bad customer.
Right, right. And customers aren't trained to be customers, right? They
Right.
they get their information from TV, at a party where their uncle says, don't pay that. I can do it. The uncle meanwhile never shows up to do the work, right? And they say their family members said this and that, and that's an ongoing story. It really is. And just put my foot down in a way where I'm respecting myself, my time, my family, which really then makes a difference. It it, it just puts it all in perspective,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, it really does. And for me, it made a lot of difference in the kind of time I could put into the things that I should be spending time on versus, hey, somebody calls on a Sunday afternoon, thinking about a remodel. I go get my cape out of the closet, tie it on. I'm off across town to go look at a job. I'm gone 2 hours, come back, work 4 hours on a bid, and then they go into the witness protection program.
Yeah, that's it,
Don't even
that's
know.
it, over and
Yeah,
over.
yeah, yeah. We'll let you know. So it's been good to get that training at the contractor fight. with Tom Reber and those guys. And I always try to mention them on my podcast so that, guys, if you're a contractor and you're listening to this and you want to get your shit straight, check out the Contractor Fight. Jason and I have both been there. It's how we met. And it would allow us both to level up our business and what we do. So on the upside, or the other side of that is I've met great people like Jason who I get to have on my podcast. We just kind of continue to build a relationship. So, staying on the construction path for a minute, you're in it. I've told you I don't love it. It's kind of a means to an end. But what do you like about it? What don't you like about it?
Well, man, I tell you, I've told the story before. Is when I built like my first couple, right? Then I go by and look at the house, and proud of this thing, right?
Yeah.
And then I watch a couple walk out of the house, holding hands, walking down the street, and it made me feel amazing because this couple is going to start a family, right? And they're going to have the days at the kitchen table where, hey, we're pregnant, everybody's excited. Hey, graduation's coming up, everybody's excited. We're moving out, another family comes in. To be a part of that, and it's just amazing. I don't know if you've ever traveled back to like your home, right, hometown.
Right. Yep.
And to see the house still there after all these years, and then all the families that were a part of that, and the memories. That's what I love about it, man. That's hands down, bro. I don't need to build 100 a year. I just want to be a family man, and I want to build my own memories. And if I can put something up that I'm proud of, and my daughters are too, my kids, that's what
you're impacting lives. I remember going back to my old neighborhood. Everything looks smaller, doesn't it? Wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Except for that willow tree in the front yard, man. The thing,
that thing was small when I was here. Right? Yeah. Well, I mean, you've been in it a while. If there was something about the business you could change, what would it be?
I think it's educating. It's really educating the customer, right? And not getting upset with the customer. If a lot of people that work in our industry is like they ask for, can you break down pricing? And it's this quick defense, right? It doesn't have to be. We want to know why they want. There could be a legitimate reason. Who knows what it is? But asking questions and genuinely listening to customers, potential customers, and you may not be able to help them, but you may know how to help.
Right.
But so there needs to be there is a disconnect, right?
Yeah.
There is.
Yeah, for sure. On the sales side, I'd never had any sales training. I would just go in and just start, beat my chest and say, hey, we're all that in a bag of chips, and we can do this, and our guys clean up well, and they're clean cut, and they show up, and they won't smoke or swear, and they leave their kids home, they don't bring their dog and all that. And and I would never say, of course, all that stuff would then happen, but that's another story. But I would never say, hey, how can I help you the most?
Yeah, right.
So like we there's some jobs I'm sure we didn't get because I didn't listen, and look for, like we talk about in our training, like the motive and what really what's really driving the project, and who the decision maker is, right?
Those things that you just mentioned, they're on 98%, 99% of everybody's website, right? We show up,
right?
We clear it. So those are the things we're supposed to do. What you don't need to put it there, right?
Insured, fully insured.
Right.
Like that's a sales item. I don't know. That's a value add.
Good. You're supposed to have that. You're supposed to show up on time.
I have a hammer.
So, it's become, I don't know whose fault it is or anybody's, but the more we can educate, up and coming contractors and the old dogs that want to know new things, we should communicate, and one contractor at a time. There's a better way. Because and dinner parties, when people talk about their house being built, it's not usually a good conversation, right? It's this
Right.
MFer, he was late on this, and weeks and weeks after, right? So let's turn that thing around, you know?
Yeah. Change orders or hit me with a big change order at the end or didn't show up, disappeared for 3 weeks, those kind of things.
Yeah, yeah. If you can't do it,
Yeah.
don't do it. Say you
Right.
don't.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a huge stereotype around that contractors in general. And I don't think it stops the GCs. You can apply those same things to plumbers, electricians, drywallers, and right on down the line.
Yeah,
So just trying to be better all the time is, I think, where it's at.
yeah, yeah. It is, and I tell you, for me, I'll tell you what I've been doing recently is I've been controlling. If I can control my thoughts, right, that
Hmm.
are going like that. First, I can control my body, and then I can control everything else, right? So
Right.
concentrating on this conversation, concentrating. If I'm driving home, concentrating on driving home, not. And
Yeah.
then when I find myself go this way, I bring it back. It's okay. Just come back. The more I can do that, the better I get.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I mean, speaking of that, and the like, probably the stress that you feel, I know firsthand what you get into from time to time. What do you do to unwind and kind of reset and be able to show up every Monday and just go right back at it again?
Great question. I give myself grace.
Hmm.
I think I know what you want to know is if I go and if I work out and I run and stuff, which I do some, but it's really about being with my family and I do. I give myself grace. I'm like, it's okay. It's okay I did this or I did that. And that's yesterday. Right now, let's just be where our feet are, right?
Be where your feet are.
And and just try to do the right thing.
Yeah. Is that something that you feel like you've come to with age or over time, or did you start with that mentality?
Certainly with age, with having children, right? With being a father. I was a hothead at one time, and like most, not most, but people, they quick to judge and and not think about what other people might be going through, right?
Yeah.
Who knows? My paradigm could be completely different. So yes, over age, I guess I would say time. I don't age. I don't
Never a
celebrate
day.
birthday.
Yeah. You look great for 23.
82. Thank you, man.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Uh,
No, and I think it's funny because you and I are roughly the same age, and it starts to be more about you know, the experience, right? I think that I was talking to Chris Dwyer uh, before we hiked last summer, and he said, ask yourself before you hike, are you journey based or are you destination based? And I think that, for a specific event like that, the hike, I tried to be, there was some that would journey destination. I got to get to the top of that mountain, right? But I was more, it made me take a minute and just kind of go, you know what? I may not get back up here. I'm going to enjoy this. So I think that um, you get a little older, you start to get it figured out, you start to be feeling like, hey, all right, finally, maybe it's my time. We're going to have a little bit of success here, maybe make a little bit of money. Um, I think you kind of start to become more journey based. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I mean, the journey is that's the important thing. That's the fun part. That's the book, right? In between the
Right.
beginning and the end, right? It's the dash on
Sure.
your tombstone. It's the journey, and we're always wanting humans in general, right? Doesn't matter what you have, you always want to have another journey. So yeah, man, it's all about the journey, and it's about truly enjoying the journey.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Let's say you build a house with somebody and you're all done, you're walking away, you're shaking hands, and you're driving down the road in your truck. What do you hope that they're saying to you, saying about you to their neighbor or their family?
that they had a great experience.
Yeah.
The opposite of what we normally hear. We talked
Hmm.
about it earlier. Just uh, that I built a great home, that I cared. That's why I put my name on my business because I'm building, Jason Rector Construction home. These are my homes. This is my name because I'm going to build that home like I would
Right.
put my family in it. So
Yeah. Here's a question. Do you live in a Jason Rector home?
No, not yet. Not
Gonna
yet.
build one?
I am. I'm in the process of building one. Yeah.
No
Yeah.
kidding. I thought
Yeah.
you had
So
said something about that one of the times that we spoke recently. Tell me about that.
super excited. So, it's a home for my daughters and I. My son lives in Tennessee, and we, we're getting a fresh start, my girls and I, and maybe it's a story for today or another time. I don't know. We went through hell, So now we're doing something for us, man, and
Good.
more for us.
Yep. Well, I'm glad to hear it. Now, you've got one of your daughters that works in the company, right? You mentioned?
Yeah, my
Yeah.
oldest. Yep.
How's
Yeah.
that going?
Amazing, amazing.
Really?
Seeing her as my little girl, and then seeing her really take this, and she's a sponge and she's doing it fast and quick. And I'm like, wow, this is a part of my daughter I've never seen. And I sit here in the office. She's not here now, but she sits over there, and I'm just grinning. My
Yeah.
heart is full. I'm so happy. Uh,
That's awesome.
I mean,
It,
it's
it's
amazing.
funny how fast they pick up on it, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can't give her enough to do, right? Because I'm not used to delegating that much, right? So I'm like,
Right.
so I'm learning, and
Learn to let go, right? Do you find that are you one of those guys that it's hard to just say, hey, take care of this? And are you a micromanager? How does that go?
you would think if I'm a micromanager, it'd be hard to let go. It's hard to let go. I could do better at managing, right?
Hmm.
Not micromanage, macro. Uh, it's hard to let go because I've never had to let go or could give it to anybody else.
Right.
It's her and I. That's it. That is my payroll. Her and I manage all the subs, right? So it really just makes a lot of sense. And we won't do more than 10 houses at a time.
10,
And
10 at
yeah,
a time. Wow.
yeah.
You've
So
got you've got your process dialed in, baby, because that would tip me right over. I'd be gone.
right, yeah. We got a good system. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought I remembered you mentioning to me maybe last year that you had been doing up to 50 at one time,
Yes.
years back.
Yeah. I have in 2016 when I first got back into the field, 2017, absolutely pulling permits and building 50 homes at a time. Now, it was a lot. It is a lot. However, I
Mhm.
didn't know it was a lot because I didn't worry about anything else, right? I had blinders on. Step back, talk to a couple of people. They're like,
Yeah.
What? I'm like, yeah, yeah. But I realized I didn't have a life, right? But
Right.
kept doing it, and I don't know. I'm certainly glad I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah. It's sometimes it's an event, or sometimes it's just like all of a sudden you can't see the forest for the trees, and you're like, what am I doing? I'm doing twice as much as I did last year and making same or less money.
Yeah,
Why? Why put myself through it, right?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and just I'm not getting healthier doing that,
Right.
and thought I was doing what's best for my family, and I looked back and I wasn't. I
Yeah.
was making myself sick and not spending any time with them. So
Yeah, if you're a hard driver, you're like, great, it's 24 hours in a day. I'll sleep when I'm dead, and gonna be dead a long time. All those things that we all say, right?
right,
Until it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon and you're circling the drain, going, uh, I didn't sleep well. I'm
yeah,
totally unproductive. I can't remember. I went into the back room, but I can't remember why I went in there. So I have to go back out to the other room, try
yeah.
try to regain the thought that triggered me to go into the other room.
It's
All of a
me.
sudden, you're like, how did I get this way?
Yeah, right. That's when it's like pump the brakes, right? Or how did you
Yeah,
get home? How'd you drive
right.
home? I don't remember.
Not a clue. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is scary. Um,
It
you
is.
know,
It
when you
is.
think about it.
So fast forwarding here, it's I've learned just learning a lot about our words, right?
Yeah,
What thoughts and um, or someone told me this. It's our words are spells, right? They that's why they're called spelling words, because what you speak, you become, right? And
Right.
that was like amazing to me. Um, and, and just truly our thoughts. So trying every day, every moment, being in the moment, right? Open my heart, and the more I do that, the words and the thoughts, then it's just amazing what comes in.
Yeah. Are you one of those guys that's able to shut it off, say, whatever, Friday night, 4 o'clock or whatever, done and pick it up Monday? Or are you, you know, on the phone all weekend and stressing out?
Both. Answer your question. Both. I'm getting to where when I'm at dinner, there's no phone on the table, right? If I'm at
Yeah.
church, I'm listening to the pastor, and because otherwise, why even go? Why do this? And
Right.
so I have little reminders. I've got post-its, around the house. Are you aware? Right? Am I aware? Great. Let me look. Let me see on my mirror and in the bathroom. You are what you think about.
Mm.
And it's better than what it was. And I tell you, I am so happy. I've got a long way to go and always working, but so happy I know what what's going on
Yeah.
around me.
Well, that's good. As I mentioned, you and I are about the same age. What's the next 3 to 5 years look like for you? Not just with, I mean, you're in the Florida market. You're down there with, I'm up here in Maine. You're down there. I know what goes on down there. Everybody from Maine just moves down there when they get to be 65. But you're building homes. I mean, is there any end in sight? Is it something that you think that you're gonna ride this out? What's the next few years look like for you?
I think I would like to do this for the next 7 to 10 years,
Mm.
and hopefully my daughters would like to be a part of the business and take it or sell it. Who knows? But
Right.
we live in Marion County. We're certainly not the national average. We're not a part of that. There's something about Marion County that's special, and that's all the horse farms, 600 horse farms here,
Wow.
and yeah, World Equestrian Centers here. It's like Disney World, much better.
For a horse
It's
for a horse people.
yeah, it's first
Yeah.
class. And, land is still affordable, and
Hmm.
it's Florida, right? And I'm fortunate to be here. I love it. The billing department here, the city, they're all great to work with. I couldn't ask for anything better, man.
Yeah, my friend, we've almost connected. My friend Dave is down in Punta Gorda and uh, on a big like Lennar site, and
Yeah,
I look around, I'm like, they count them in doors, it's like he's in a place that's like 1,700 doors, and I'm like, that's like, there's some people. I mean, and they're doing a huge development across the street from them. There's going to be probably as many people over there as there are here in my hometown at
yeah,
one
yeah,
development. So it's just crazy. And like I walked through his place and just like the level of quality just wasn't there. And I'm like, I know I wouldn't do something like this, but I know you wouldn't. So
yeah.
and if you're building 10 versus these guys building hundreds, you must be able to keep a pretty good eye on the quality, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it goes back to why my name is on the business, right? So
Right.
it's really about quality, and
Yeah.
they're not hugely expensive homes at all, right? They're beginner homes, and
Mm.
but what we do, we want to make it right, tile, clean, right,
Yeah.
straight, level, square. I'm in there with a straight edge, making sure. You ever try to nail something on the wall and it's or your
Clunk,
tiles like starts?
clunk. Yeah.
It's like, man.
Yeah. Well, coming
So
from a framing background, you can appreciate that, because the trim guy blames the drywaller guy blames the framer, the guy hanging the cabinets blames everybody, and
yeah,
it just
yeah,
goes on down through the through the project. But it's the old adage, plumb, level, and square. If you've got somebody that can do that and get you a good box, you got something, right?
yeah. It's true, and that's what I'm trying to get away from, is everybody blaming everybody, and that's just slowing down, to go faster, right?
Yeah.
Seriously,
Yeah.
that's what I've learned is
Yeah.
to go faster. I need to slow down, put the procedures in place, and talk to people, and get
Right.
out there. and
Yeah.
get to know 'em.
Yeah. Are you doing all, you must be doing all your own project management?
Yeah, 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 I am.
That's good.
So in the mornings I drive the jobs, in the afternoons I'm in the office.
Nice.
And my daughters and I played hooky a couple of weeks ago on a Wednesday. Took my youngest out of school, and we closed shop here and went canoeing down the Rainbow, or kayaking down the Rainbow River. It's beautiful.
Nice.
It's just gorgeous. Yeah.
There you go.
Um,
You don't get that time back, so that's good. I'm glad to see you do that. No,
yeah. Thank you.
I
Yeah.
was out.
That's
I
what
was
they'll
out.
remember, right?
Yeah,
When they're older, not Christmas gifts, but that kind of
yeah.
stuff.
Well, I like to shoot out to Dallas and see Bailey, and I mean, it's like in 4 or 5 hours you can change your whole. You know, I wake up here in the morning in cold southern Maine, hop on a flight, and boom, 4 or 5 hours later, it's 70 degrees. I'm in Dallas. Life's good.
Well, yeah, it is good, right? And you're
Yeah.
doing a lot of good things.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no, being a part of your group is, someone told me, and this is you, it reminds me of you, is that we're meant to be rivers, not reservoirs. And that's what you're doing. You're giving back, man. And
Yeah,
just,
thank you. I try.
no, thank you. Thank you. Sincerely. I mean,
Yeah, it's been
some,
fun. I was just, we were, Wendy and I were inviting more people to join the summit, the free group, on Facebook, and it was about 850 people in there. And I said, geez, I wonder what it would take to get to 1,000. So we started inviting, and we were having fun with it. And over the weekend, boom, we're closing in on 950. So
yeah.
just trying to get more active there. And as you know, I do the one-on-one coaching. You and I have
Yes,
done that. And I enjoy that a lot. It's hard to scale that because when I first started, I was like, oh, well, hey, 20 people, that's only 20 hours a week. That's like a half a week, right? But, I think I topped out at one time about 8 or 9 one-on-one clients. That's a lot. It's a lot of
sure.
time on the phone and, 1 hour a week. So I've had to kind of cap that at 4 or 5 and then go into what I have is what I call our paid group, which is the peak. Um, and put people in there and we've got a small community in there, as you know, that's 20, 22 people. And we do a call every
Tuesday.
Tuesday night, 7 o'clock.
Mhm.
So we call
Yep.
it the peak call. And it's great because, I'll pick a topic and talk about it, whether it's, goal setting or whether we're going to talk about something like imposter syndrome or limiting beliefs. And also, we'll have some special influencers come in from time to time. And I'll let them kind of take the reins, which is kind of good. I get to sit back and just watch what happens, which is kind of cool. Fun thing I've created this time around is the mastermind, and that's been fun to have you as part of that as well. So I like that environment too because it's kind of small group, more intimate coaching
Mhm.
every couple weeks, so it's not killing you. You're not like, oh, I got to get on my call today. Got to get on my call today. If you're in a couple of different groups, that kind of stuff can choke you out. So we do the mastermind call. So yeah, it's going good. I feel good about it. People run into my brothers and they'll say, "What is your brother up to?" Geez, he's all over social media. I say, "Well, I'm doing it right then, man. I'm doing it right."
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I
And
listened to what was it? I read one book this weekend. It was a short one, and some other stuff. And what I keep hearing is service. Come from a place of service, and just keep pushing out. Just keep doing stuff. Just be a good person and do the stuff, do the thing, and it all comes washing back in its own way, right? And you've probably seen that in your business. It's like not everything's got to have a dollar attached to it, right? Do all the
right.
stuff right, and the money will take care of itself.
Yeah.
So um, and I hope so. Anyway,
Well, let me tell you, it's anybody that's not, if anybody's out there just struggling, like, what can I do to, there's something missing, right? There's something, if you're not a part of a coaching group,
true.
I am, you are, our coaches are, and it's really, that's what makes the difference. Having those people you
Yeah.
can truly
Hmm.
talk to in a safe atmosphere. And that's what your
Yeah.
group is. Yeah. And I tell you, anybody looking to that are struggling, just I don't know what to do. That was it for me. It was
Yeah.
truly,
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah. It's
I need,
funny. I never looked at you and I were in the contractor fight together. I never considered like business coaching. I just struggled at it, and nobody ever really. Even if you go to school and get a business degree, it doesn't. It doesn't teach you how to be an entrepreneur, right?
Sure.
And so, like if I want to learn guitar, I've got I got a guitar lesson. If I want to lose some weight, I'm going to go see the nutrition guy, right? If I want to
Mhm.
get better, whatever, deal with some things, I'm going to go see a counselor. But nobody ever says, "Well, you ever think of getting some business coaching?" you know, and I enjoy it. I mean, I was on the phone the other day ripping into a guy's P&L and just going right down through it. And because of being in business, I know what I'm looking for. I know what I'm looking at, particularly on the construction ones. It's kind of fun, figuring that out. Or I'll routinely get a couple of calls a week from people that will say, "Hey, I'm headed into a tough conversation with a customer. Um, you know, can you give me a buzz? You got 10 minutes." You and I have had fun
Yes.
strategy sessions where,
Yep.
like, all right, we got this going, and give me the lay of the land. And then I'm like, all right, roll the
Yeah.
sleeves up. What if you, what if you said this? Try this. And we've had some fun, haven't we?
Yes, we have, man. It's been a lot of fun. It really, and it's like the coaching, right? The entrepreneur, the business coaching. Maybe you don't know you're getting better until that relief of the P&L, right?
Right,
Now I know my numbers, right?
right.
So now I'm feeling better. It's and you didn't know, right?
Yeah.
I've got all those other things in mind. Yeah, we need it, man. We need health, wealth, and business.
Yeah, no, and I think that if you pick the right group, you get yourself around some winners. It just helps. They say you're the average of the five people you spend the most time with, right?
Yeah,
Just change to your five, or add five winners to your group, and geez, I see that guy over there. He's doing pretty well at that. I wonder what it would take for me to have a conversation with him.
yeah,
And I just got done with Ben Newman's Coach to Coaches group, and there's me and 49 other people in there, and I'm looking around going, there's some heavy hitters here. Like one of the guys is a Super Bowl champion. One of them, another guy used to play for the Chiefs. I'm going, these guys have done a few things, and I'm like, wow, I'm feeling pretty cool to be sitting at the table, and now I've got all these guys. I'm reaching out to them. Several of them are going to be on the podcast, and that's really cool. So I'm just like, well, hey, how do you do that? Hey, you wrote a book. How'd you do that? What do you got to do that? I see you doing that over there. How did you get in a position to be able to do that? And I just keep asking questions, and then it's like one level up, one level up, one level up every time.
and they're
Right.
helpful. They help, no
Yeah,
problem. Just
yeah,
boom,
super.
boom.
Yeah,
Want to help?
yeah, it's super helpful. It reminds me when I remember when I first started doing triathlon, and it was kind of an air, the guys that were really good at it, there was kind of an air like, you didn't want to ask them any questions. They didn't want to talk to you.
Yeah,
They were like doing their thing. And I remember saying to my buddy Mike, I go, if we ever get good at this, I'm not going to be like that guy,
yeah,
and we got good at it. And I would walk into any race, any transition area, and I'd look for that guy that was like had his wetsuit. He was all frigged up. He didn't know what, he had like helmet on backwards, whatever. I'm like, this is your first time? He's like, yeah. I go, come over here. Let me help you.
yeah.
And that just felt good, and maybe that's where this stuff started for me. But I don't know, it just felt good to help rather than laugh at him and go, "Hey, look at that, look at that freaking guy over there. He doesn't know what he's doing." But to me, I don't know. It just felt like the better thing to do, the right thing to do, and I've tried to do the right thing, the same thing in business, and at age 54, there's a lot of guys coming in and doing contracting or doing subcontracting or just being entrepreneurs. And I feel like I can maybe help them avoid some of the potholes I stepped in,
Yeah,
along the way.
yeah. It's about collapsing time, right? That took you
Yeah.
5, 10 years. Now you can teach that, and it should
Right.
only
Yeah.
it narrows that down.
Yeah.
Um, you got you can tell that you love what you do. You really can,
Yeah.
and
Well,
it's got to
thanks.
feel good.
Yeah. I remember, and some of the experiences I had probably shaped it. I remember when I first started, I think it was, yeah, I was in the mill workshop, and I asked the guy how to do something, right? And he goes, figure it out for yourself, something like that. I go, hey, somebody showed you how to do it, didn't they? I was like
Yeah, that's
19.
right.
Right? This guy's an
Right.
older guy. He goes, yeah, yeah, okay, well, come over here. I'll show you how to do that.
So you weren't born with this knowledge, huh, old guy?
No,
Right.
exactly. Yeah. Same guy that told me to take the board out and put it in the board stretcher. But, I got wise to that pretty quick. Pretty quick.
I got you.
Yeah. Go get some blinker fluid.
Right.
Yeah. Cool.
That's terrible.
Well, man, this has been fun. This has been coming for a long time. I've been wanting to just get on and shoot the shit and have a conversation with you. We were talking before. It's like, why do I do this? Who's it for? Is it to promote? Hey, Jason. Yeah. Hey, if you happen to be in Ocala, Florida, or you're in Marion County and you want a great contractor, here's Jason Rector.
Yep.
But I always tell people, listen, the podcast really isn't for me. It's really for you. It's my way of just, pushing out, giving, putting people, propping people up, putting them on a pedestal, letting them have a conversation, see what comes of it, let it fly, throw it up there. And it was just kind of fun,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I appreciate it. And, listen, if I'm not for everybody, it's jasonrectorconstruction.com. And if I can't help you, then maybe I can find somebody that can. But, I'm just here, man. I just want to be a good dad, bro. And then everything else falls into place.
Yeah. Everything else will. And I know you're a good dad. So, well, good. Anything else you want people to know?
That your group is really has changed my thinking, and the people I've met in there is my tribe. They're my tribe, man, and just such just a great group to be around and safe. So
cool.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate you. I'll ask you this as we wrap up. So, I'm working on this new concept of the edge, right? And I'm working on that hashtag the edge, go to the edge. And, Ben Newman said to me, you're good at taking people to the edge, and there's an edge in everything you say, I'm edgy, I guess. Right. So I've been asking people when I do the podcast, like, what's your edge? Ben talks about, your burn, right? Where you connect why and purpose and all that. And, when I first thought about the edge, I'm like, oh, that's my daughter, of course. Right. But it really isn't. My edge is really the example that I am to others and the things that I bring to the table like this. That's my edge. My edge is reaching out to my clients 1 or 2 a week, with a video or something like that, doing a little bit extra, a little over deliver, right? It's doing the things that the other people aren't willing to do so that I can do the things that I'm not currently able to do. I guess I'll ask you, what is your edge when you think about it that way?
My edge is, returning phone calls, and right there, I've got 90% of my competition beat. Returning phone calls, and when they want to see me, I was blown away once. I was talking to a realtor, sold a house. Realtor got with me, wanted to figure something out sprinklers. So I called. I went down there. They were blown away. The contractor, I was blown away. I'm like, yeah, what do you mean? I guess that was like something that doesn't happen. But I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
But is really being there, answering the phone call, and if they want to meet, there's no reason to meet me past 5 o'clock, but I'm available, and just the setup, right, before the job starts, the communication, the Google shared drive that a lot of people I build for in Miami and New York. Let me tell you, I've never even seen their face, never even met them.
Wow.
Got a Google Drive, pictures, and a bank account. They put the money in, I build, and they see it go. It's really amazing.
It's crazy.
I know.
Even as early as like 20 years ago, you wouldn't even consider that, right? So it's kind of a great time to be doing this stuff. So with technology and everything, digital, it's great.
Yeah. So I guess that's my edge, Bob. Anybody can build a house, man. It's really a contractor, but who do you feel comfortable with? That's
communication.
Yeah, man.
Yep. No, that's cool. Well, buddy, I appreciate you. Thanks for taking the time. This has been fun. And we'll do it again sometime. I appreciate how you go about doing things. I appreciate the support of me as I've grown the coaching business and the podcast, the group, and all that. Appreciate participation and everything.
You got it, my friend. Not a problem. Had fun.
Well, guys, Thank you very much, Jason Rector. Thank you. I'll put his contact information in the show notes. And if you know somebody down that area that's looking to build, Jason's your man. This has been the Summit Podcast, episode 45 or 6 or something like that. We're coming on to 50. And we're going to be knocking some down here in the coming weeks. So stay tuned. We've got a lot of great people coming on. Really enjoyed it. Jason, I'll share this out. It lives on YouTube, but it'll be on Apple Podcasts, so you can get it there, and please share it amongst your friends and customers and all that jazz. So, guys, thanks a lot. This has been the Summit Podcast. We're out. Take care.